This is WBSM On Demand.
Good morning. Good morning. Wow. What a great day to come back, right? What a great day to come back to talk radio. Folks, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I did. Spent it with some really great people. Talked to a lot of great people over the weekend. But it's great to have good people in your life, right? As I think we all do. Hopefully. I do. I hope you do. Boy, if we could all have a dad. Well, thankfully, I didn't have a dad like Hunter Biden, right? Thankfully, my dad never put me in a precarious legal situation that jammed up my entire life. And thankfully, he was able to pardon me, right? Guys, this pardon of Hunter Biden just proves that the impeachment, the first impeachment of Donald Trump, was part of a cover-up. Think back to the first impeachment of Donald Trump. It was over a phone call to the president of the Ukraine, Zelensky, by Donald Trump to make an inquiry about the Biden family corruption in the Ukraine. And as soon as the Obama-Biden Democrat machine found out about it, they sent the House of Representatives into overdrive, including the entire Massachusetts delegation, which voted to cover up the crimes of the Biden family. Had Joe Biden not used the Democrats in the House and Senate to obstruct the investigation of the executive branch under Donald Trump into the crimes of his son and other people related to the Biden administration, the Obama-Biden administration, there would have been no impeachment. Folks, what happened over the weekend is a pause, should be a pause anyway, for all of us to think about the last couple years. The fact that under Obama, Joe Biden was selling U.S. foreign policy. Think about the implications of that. And the entire Democrat apparatus was mobilized, most of them not even realizing it, to energize the cover-up through the impeachment process. Many of you out there, elected officials, activists, you were mobilized by the Obama administration, Obama-Biden, to cover up the crimes of the Obama-Biden administration. Joe Biden has no control over foreign policy. Obama did. And this impeachment of Donald Trump, maybe it's not worth reversing, but it would be the proper thing to do. Now, will the Democrats go along with it? I doubt it. But remember, some of our legislators have more roles than others in the Ukraine, Russia, energy policy. Think about that for a second. Some of our members of Congress have more information than the average person, obviously, about policies like Russia, the Ukraine, Europe, energy. Think about that. Remember when Joe Biden bragged, this is how dumb he is, he bragged to the Council on Foreign Relations that he held up $1 billion in aid to the Ukraine if they didn't get rid of the prosecutor who was investigating Burisma. He said it. I played it here. Years ago, I've been on this story. For years. You people, some of you, recognized it. Others of you said it's a conspiracy theory. Last night, Joe Biden codified that conspiracy theory. It's true. The Biden crime family is true. Folks, you have to reconsider everything you've thought about Donald Trump and Joe Biden and President Obama. Why did he pick 2014? Why not from the day Hunter was born? Look, we all know Hunter's story, right? It's a sad story. He became a drug addict at a young age, and he committed a lot of crimes, a lot of federal crimes. But in that haze of drug addiction, I always wondered how he was getting all this stuff accomplished, though, right? Meeting with the Chinese, meeting in the Ukraine, he doesn't speak the language. How's he getting all this done, right? Well, now we realize he was just a front man for the old man. He was like all the other organized crime families out there. And you Democrats not only enabled it, you energized it by voting for it, calling your congressman, encouraging the impeachment of Donald Trump for what now turns out to be a very good phone call, a legitimate phone call. Joe Biden didn't pick Hunter's 18th birthday, which I think by then he was committing felonies by his own admission. He was involved in drugs. No. He picked 2014. That is when Hunter Biden first began to collect money, as far as the investigation is shown, to influence American foreign policy. 2014. Folks, President Biden didn't pick that date out of the blue. Think about that for a second. If you just want to protect your son, I understand that. What would any other father do, right? You would do that. I understand protecting your son. Why didn't he just go back to the day he was born? Why didn't he just go back to his 18th birthday? When, by his own admission, by both their own admission, really, Hunter, I think maybe he was 15 or so when he really got into the narcotics. But why not go back to the day he was born? I mean, really, you want to protect your kid. There's no way Biden, the father, the president, knows every single federal transgression of his son, crimes against the United States, as the father so lovingly put in the pardon, if he really wrote it, which he didn't. Think about this. Why 2014? Why? You have to ask yourself that, particularly if you're a Democrat. If you're a Republican and you listen to this program, you already know why. Because of Burisma. That's the reason why Trump was impeached by the Democrats, to include Mitt Romney. Isn't that interesting? Mitt Romney, why in the world would Mitt Romney, the U.S. Republican senator from Utah, the former governor of Massachusetts, vote for the impeachment for a very good phone call to the Ukrainian leader? Why? Why? Why, folks? Why? 508-996-05. Take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Chris McCarthy. Welcome back to the program. And Hunter Biden was his father's beast of burden, right? Go over there and carry back millions of dollars from foreign countries, from the communist Chinese, the Ukrainians, the Russians, all kinds of foreign interests. But Joe Biden needed a beast of burden to carry the cash. And that was his son and his brother, right? Hunter Biden was his father's beast of burden, carrying the burden, all that cash. And like a good crime family leader, his father offered him protection. Gave him what all mafia families would like to have, right? What all godfathers would like to have. The ability to keep the Justice Department away from you, right? 508-996-05. We're now going to be joined by a very special and quick guest, Lisa Feidelberg Costa, who's a stroke survivor, and she's got an upcoming event. So I invited Lisa on to talk about it. Good morning, Lisa. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, Christopher. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Lisa, you had a stroke, and you bounced back from it, and you now want to offer support to other people who've had strokes. Tell us what you're doing, where your event is going to be, and all the great guests that are going to be there.
Absolutely, Chris. So I had a stroke 3 years ago, unfortunately, which was a life-altering experience and has left me disabled. And during that process, I really felt alone in this challenge. So as a result of that, I started a little group called Stroke Buddies and Friends, and it's basically created, obviously, by someone who has had a life-altering experience, and the participants are all challenged with their personal life-altering experiences as well. And it's called Stroke Buddies and Friends. We're going to be starting a workshop which will be held monthly at the Westport Council on Aging. They were very instrumental and impactful in my recovery. And to be honest with you, Chris, I had no idea they even existed in my town. I'm a former resident of New Bedford, and I embraced New Bedford, and now I actually live in Westport. So I wanted to start this organization basically to support Bristol County and the people that do have these challenges so that they're not alone. And in doing so, I know that Senator Mark Montigny is very insightful and has pushed throughout the Commonwealth with regards to strokes. And then we also found that having guest speakers would also support information that we wouldn't have normally have known or we can incorporate to keep our community safe. Bristol County DA Thomas Quinn has agreed to come in and do a protecting of our seniors and people with disability. We find that statistics show that there is a rise in cons, frauds, and scams, particularly targeting that demographic. So I thought having guest speakers to help me push the agenda would be very helpful. I have Beverly Bish, who is the COA director, Westport COA director, with me, who has been so gracious to host our support group.
We're speaking with Lisa Feidelberg Costa, who just started a group called Stroke Buddies. For all of Bristol County, they're going to have a meeting coming up. I understand newly elected state representative and selectman in Westport, Steve Ouellette, will be there. I know Senator Mark Montigny will be there. As you said, the DA, Tom Quinn, will be there. Lisa, where and when and how can people learn more?
So we're actually going to be having it at Whites of Westport, who is obviously an area business and supports the community on a daily basis. They create memories, for the future. The other thing is that it's going to be held December 5th. It's going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's only a couple of hours. We have a complimentary breakfast. And then we also have our senior leadership, whether it be in the Commonwealth or in Westport, our local police department, fire department, town officials are all coming together to really support our seniors and the disabled. And that's really their number one priority, is keeping our community safe.
Lisa made a great point when she said she felt so. Look, folks, many of you who are regular listeners to the program know I've had my health problems, including a stroke, a couple of them actually. And I was lucky enough that I had, really good, close members of my family, and obviously Natalie and all my great friends to support me. But if you don't have that, this is a great place to reach out and go get some support. If you have a stroke, and if you haven't had one yet, listen, I know nobody gets out of here alive, right? So you're going to go through your health challenges, and it's terrible to do it alone. But if you need support, Lisa, how do they reach out and get more information on Stroke Buddies?
So just to clarify too, Christopher, if I may, Stroke Buddies, we changed our name to Stroke Buddies and Friends because we really don't want to turn anybody away if they necessarily didn't have a stroke, but any type of life-altering experience, they're all welcome. And we actually meet once a month here at the Westport Council on Aging, and the telephone number there is 508-636-1026. They can also ask for me. They will give any constituent that calls in my personal cell phone number along with my email address. The transparency has been amazing. We started in September with only 2 members, and we hit a milestone, and we have 25 members today and still climbing. And we have over 75 people that will be coming to the Westport, Rights of Westport. And so those numbers are climbing. And we just really wanted the opportunity to have you support us, Chris, because you're so instrumental in the community, and we respect you for that, and we thank you for that. And I know partnering with you, you will get the word out because you have a personal experience as well. So it's been a pleasure to speak with you and your guests and your audience as well.
Thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate all of the things that you're doing for the people out there who've had life-altering events, strokes, heart, whatever your medical issue. Reach out to Lisa Feidelberg-Costa. Look, Senator Montigny's made a lot of legislation on strokes. He's been working on it for years, because if you knew his dad, Bud, that was what happened to him. He had a major stroke, and that's what got Mark involved in stroke impacts and nursing homes, all of that stuff. It's really important, and it impacts all of us. So certainly we appreciate Lisa, and we appreciate Senator Mark Montigny for his work for people who've had life-altering medical events, right? All right, so I do appreciate Lisa for giving us a call here. Folks, when you lay out the show, you have no idea what's going to be going on out there, right? I guess I think we all knew, right, that Joe Biden would have to pardon Hunter. And I understand that. I really do. It is the fact that the pardon is so sweeping. It covers all crimes against the United States since 2014. That is the second half of the Obama administration, right? The last 2 months of the Obama administration. So second half of the second term through to right now. Well, or Sunday. Think about that. That is an admission that Hunter Biden was committing crimes while his father was the vice president of the United States. Not when his father first became elected, right? Not the first day of the Obama administration, right? No, it's a very specific date. 2014. That covers the very first year that the Ukrainians were paying Hunter Biden, which is what Donald Trump inquired about with Zelensky, that the Democrats impeached him over. A very good phone call. Folks, if you're a Democrat, you've been played, you've been sucked. If you're a Democrat elected official, you're a member of a crime family. Don't you realize that? You're the member, you're a soldier, a peon, but a soldier in the Biden crime family that travels under the name of the Democrat Party. You know, if you know anything about the mafia, right? The Profaci family became the Colombo family. The Gambino family became the John Gotti family, right? Mafia dons come and go. It was Obama was the capo de tutti capi, right? Capo, the boss of all bosses. But underneath him, his capo was Joe Biden, right? Sending his family members out to collect cash. Folks, that's what happened. Obama was the boss of all bosses. You got to protect him. And that is why Joe Biden, I'm sure Biden pled his son's case, his own case, with Obama, but Obama, who's not stupid, knew there was no way he was going to pardon him. You figure it out, Joe, right? You're holding the bag. So there's Joe Biden scrambling around to try to find a pardon for his son, hoping that dropping out, Hillary would do it for him, right? After all, the Clintons had sold a lot of pardons. And then, an accident of history, the American people woke up and elected a real champion, a real American, Donald Trump. And suddenly, the capo regime was in trouble, right? Because the boss, Obama, had cut him loose. Wasn't going to do his dirty work. Wasn't going to implicate himself. So Joe Biden ran for president. Now we understand why Obama helped Biden clear the field of all the other Democrats, right? Because he realized that Trump was going to, maybe already knew what had happened. So they had to muddy the waters by encouraging the Democrats to impeach Trump. And then Biden had to get in there to do the cover-up. And over the weekend, he did it. I mean, this is an amazing moment in history. Be thankful you're alive. Really. It's a tragedy, but you're living through the most important events of the American Republic. A level of corruption. Unbelievable. And you've been here to witness it, whether you want to accept it or not. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Hey, Chris. How are you today?
I am wonderful.
If you can't hear me okay, I might have to call back.
Please do.
Okay, sounds like I'm a little underwater from what I was listening to. I'll tell you what, I'll call you back from my computer.
Thank you. 508-996-05. I'm taking calls on this. The Biden pardon of one of his crime soldiers, Hunter Biden. Remember, folks, if John Gotti had the ability to pardon his son, he would have. If Raymond Patriarca Sr. had the ability to pardon Junior Patriarca, right, Raymond Jr., he would have. But we weren't there yet, right? Wasn't enough time. Do you remember the scene in The Godfather where the Godfather says to Michael, there wasn't enough time. I'm sorry, there wasn't enough time. I always thought of you as Governor Corleone, Senator Corleone, right? Meaning using the political power to protect the rest of the family. Wasn't enough time, Michael. We couldn't get there, right? But Joe Biden got there. He got to the big chair, leader of the free world. And he used it to enrich his family. Look at the money that Obama left office with. Where do you think that money came from? Right? How many other people are out there in the Democrat Party? Maybe even Mitt Romney. I think his sons were over there in the Ukraine, weren't they? Is that why he voted to impeach Donald Trump? Folks, this corruption is now on full display. I know you didn't want to hear it, but it's been available that the congressional Republicans produced a very short 12-page document. I put it up on Facebook this morning. If you can follow me on Facebook, you can read the document. It is a 12-page document. The Biden crime family peddling of influence, right? Biden family influence peddling. It's all there. The Republicans have all the bank transfers. They published it in reports. They're all available. I was talking with a Democrat this morning who I've been telling about this. He's a lawyer. I mean, he knows better. He understands the report. The banking documents are all available. But if you just want to get a quick summation, the 12-page document that I posted on Facebook, it's all right there. 12 pages in a neat little package. Footnoted. You can follow the footnotes if you'd like. All the other reports are available. They have the banking documents. That's why President Biden pardoned his son. It's amazing. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Great. How are you? How was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was awesome. We had a great family gathering, and looking forward to the Christmas gathering, which isn't too far away.
It won't be. It won't be at all.
We got an early Christmas present yesterday, which was I thought was kind of interesting. So all this time saying he's not going to pardon his son, and then when he pardons his son, he reaches, like you said, out to 2014, pretty arbitrary date. Why do you think that is? Well, that's when he started working, Burisma and, working all these other countries and companies to try to grift money. And, I remember there was a story there was one comment from Barack Obama about how sloppy Joe operates. They didn't really say what he's operating sloppily, but I have a feeling that the Secret Service is following Hunter, and there's another group following the Secret Service, and they're all trying to say, Joe, don't step on the landmine here. But he gave a really big gift to Donald Trump because not only did he pardon his son, but he also gave his son immunity. You can't charge him for something that happened in the past, even if it comes up. That's immunity. That's not a pardon. He also pardoned his son without doing any time. And a lot of people, when they get pardoned after they've done some time. And we didn't get to that part with Hunter. And then the other thing is he blamed it on political hacksmanship. He basically said, this was a political attack on me. But wait, how is it a political attack on you when it's your justice system?
It's amazing.
He gave Donald Trump an opening to say, I agree with Joe. I was done. The same thing happened to me. So if it happened to me and it's not Joe getting me and I'm not getting Joe, then it must be the deep state, which is trying to get everybody. So it's time to pull us apart. And I think he gave Trump a great gift by saying that, by doing this.
No, I agree with you, but this is everything the Republicans have been accused of being conspiracy theories. theorists.
Right.
Biden, as you point out, and I pointed out, he didn't go back to Hunter's 18th birthday, which, if you know Hunter's story, that probably would have been reasonable if you want to pardon him, because he was committing crimes against the United States back then.
Right.
But he didn't. He picked 2014, and that is Burisma. And the reason Biden orchestrated and Obama orchestrated the impeachment of Donald Trump in the first administration was to cover up the crimes in the Ukraine.
Right. Right. Well,
so that means every Democrat member of Congress who took part in the impeachment, to include our entire delegation in Massachusetts, they were part of the conspiracy.
Well, and I think there's leverage everywhere. So people just say, "Oh, I got to go with the narrative because there's leverage that's going to hit me in the back of the neck if I don't do whatever I'm supposed to do," because that's the way the machine has been set up. But I'll leave you with this: did you see Trump's tweet yesterday right after it happened? He said, I'm just paraphrasing. He said, "Well, Joe, now that you're pardoning, Hunter, why aren't you pardoning the hundreds of people that were arrested on January 6th that are still sitting in jail? If you're really worried about deep state stuff, that there are a lot of people accused of stuff that they didn't do." So it's kind of interesting that Trump was not thinking of himself, but thinking of the January 6th people that are sitting in jail right now, No,
I think that's a great observation. Thanks for the call, my friend, as always. Look, my feelings on January 6th. I was outraged by it. I thought it was an embarrassment for the supporters of Donald Trump, of which I am one, and for the vast Republican Party movement. I thought it was an embarrassment. But what Joe Biden and his Justice Department have done to many of those people, some deserve jail time, no doubt about it, but some people certainly do not, okay? So I try to stay away from the January 6th stuff because you can't lump everybody together, which is what has been done, but you can't say nothing was done that was wrong, right? And I thought it was a real embarrassment for the Trump people. But anyway, the first impeachment of Donald Trump, we now realize with this admission, this pardon by President Trump was wrong because the Bidens were selling foreign policy. They were selling foreign policy, which is why Joe Biden picked 2014, if he really wrote that document. I'm inclined to believe that Abby Lowell wrote it. That's Hunter Biden's lawyer. Why didn't they pick Hunter's 18th birthday? That's a reasonable date if you want to pardon your son for his sole crimes, right? But no, he picked 2014 because those are events that implicate him and President Obama. I mean, this is a level of corruption we've never seen before in the U.S. government. Where are the Democrats? Defend the pardon. I want to hear from you Democrats, of which there are many. Defend the action of your leader. Defend the action of the crime boss. The Biden crime family. If you didn't see it before, there's no hiding it now. President Biden acknowledged he's a member of a crime family. And he offered protection to at least one soldier so far. This is a tragedy, folks. This is a real American tragedy. If you're a Democrat, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself, particularly if you're an elected official, if you're a member of Congress who went along with this cover up. You didn't know any better, particularly those of you who have intimate knowledge of foreign policy, matters of energy in the Ukraine, Europe, and Russia. Those of you on the China Committee, some of you people out there elected by by the good people of Massachusetts, the good people in my district, in my listening area, right? Many of them voted for you. You need to apologize for voting to impeach Donald Trump, to convict him, Mitt Romney. 508-996-05. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. To the program, of course, you always hear that song during gangster movies, right? All my friends are junkies. I could use a lemon squeezer, right? They put the Ukraine in a lemon squeezer, right? Biden said, if you don't dismiss that prosecutor who's looking into Burisma, my son's company, you're not going to get $1 billion in U.S. aid. Folks, President Obama, using Biden, his vice president, sold American foreign policy. Think about that for a second. Joe Biden wasn't in control of foreign policy. President Obama was. Folks, there's a memo from one of the Biden ambassador's staff, right? Someone in the State Department, to President Obama's staff, complaining about Biden's activities, Hunter Biden's activities in the Ukraine. That came out in the impeachment. They said, speak to the vice president's office about that. President Obama didn't do anything about it. The corruption in the Obama administration, the Obama-Biden administration, has just been documented, first by the Republicans, and now agreed to with the pardon by President Biden of his son, and casting into the real light the first impeachment of President Donald Trump. That the Democrats in Congress, that means the House members, the Democrats were part of the cover-up for Obama and Biden, and to a lesser degree, obviously, for Hunter. He was just a drug addict out there, right? He was the beast of burden, carrying the money back from the communist Chinese, the Ukrainians, the Russians. Folks, the Democrat Party under President Obama and Biden was energized as an organized crime family. I mean, I know if you're a Democrat, you're going, that's not what happened. Chris, that's not what happened. Explain to me the 2014 date. Why not to Hunter's 18th birthday? Why not to when he was about 15, when I believe he first started committing crimes against the United States? No. Joe Biden doesn't cover those years of personal narcotics use. He doesn't cover those crimes. No. It begins in 2014 and goes through till this past Sunday, meaning the entire time Joe Biden was the president, and for 2 years when he was the vice president. It's absolutely outrageous. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Yes, everything was great.
Everything went well? Oh, that's awesome. Listen, it's when I heard this information, I wasn't surprised, but the first thing that came to me, because I'm big about history, I said to myself, we are witnessing history.
Yes.
First of all, we are witnessing the second most corrupt and in-debt president since Buchanan, and the second worst president in Buchanan, and the first most corrupt president. He passed Nixon. It's official.
Oh, yeah.
This is the most corrupt president in the history of the United States. Make no bones about it. The facts are in now. Now I hope that historians write the real story about this presidency. The most corrupt and the second most inept president we ever had. And that's just a fact.
They're all facts. And
it's sad, Chris. Chris, it's sad for our country.
Yes.
It's sad. It's sad that we had half of the population 4 years ago who fell for the bull crap,
Yep.
who fell for it and voted for this illegitimate idiot of a president. He was never president. Basically, the White House was in Martha's Vineyard for 4 years.
Right.
Obama ran the show. That's why he had Rice in there. Rice was his connection in there, and he basically controlled the White House.
Thanks for the call, my friend. As always, folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be right back. Remember, I don't blame the American people. I blame the elected officials of the Democrat Party. That's the only people you can blame. The elected officials of the Democrat Party, they brought us here. That's what Hunter was saying to his father, right? Give me some shelter, Dad. I don't want to be under oath to have to say where the money really went, right? I don't want to have to tell him who the big guy is, right? 10% for the big guy. I don't have to tell him that. Folks, you've been hearing about this here for years. Thanks to my great sponsors like Mac Auto Sales, 188 Rivet Street in New Bedford. They repair all makes and models. Boy, it's cold out today and it's going to get colder. So you need to winterize your automobile, right? The only way to beat Biden inflation is not to have to replace your automobile. So you got to winterize your car, make it last longer. Make an appointment today at Mac Auto Sales. Give them a call, 508-565-6221. They're open weekdays 9 to 5. If you have a foreign car that needs repair or winterizing, perfect. Mac Auto Sales specializes in foreign car servicing. Ask about their aftermarket accessories in the quality used cars for sale at Mac Auto Sales, a great sponsor of this program and WBSM. We appreciate the folks at Mac Auto Sales, so head over there. It's a good partnership between you and them, right? Get your car winterized. If you didn't know this morning, if you didn't know you needed to do it, you do now, right? The ice on your windshield this morning tells the real story. If you're up at 5, 6 in the morning, you saw ice this morning. So get your car over there. Anyway, folks, I want you to stick around for the commercials, the news, rather, that we have coming up. And then we'll go back to taking your phone calls at 508-996-0500. Talking about this moment in history. We've never been here before. I think I could say about everything, right? But no one in the American Republic has lived in a time like this.